go.
All right, so we are looking at June 14th at 5:35 p.m. This is the Communications and Technology Committee. Well, we have a quorum, so I guess I'll announce that, unless anyone disagrees, but we're here for a workshop. So we want to go over some survey data we have and generally talk about getting the internet where it is not, specifically broadband. Current definition is what, 100 by 10? Although we'd really like far greater than that.
100 by 10.
Yep, I think that's the, let me check. They keep changing the number. I think that's what we're officially calling minimum broadband. I'll look at that right now, using the old broadband. Let's see here. Well, it looks like the FCC still calls broadband 25 by 3, but unless anyone disagrees, I would like to use our minimum of 100 by 10, which is what we've used for grants and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, that 25.3 is the federal,
Right.
but the state of Maine is switching to 100.
Okay, even better.
We're switching, but we haven't quite yet.
For the purposes of, it must be Thomas.
I am, yes, hi.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
I'm so sorry I'm late. I was held up with my toddler, so...
We're just starting.
We've just gotten through the formalities of announcing ourselves to the internet and going over the definition of broadband, which for the purposes of this, we're going to call, let's say 100 by 100. That's our minimum goal.
Okay.
This is for a future facing project. So thank you for coming. Feel free to participate. I don't think anyone's interviewed you officially yet, so we're still waiting on that.
No, I'm still a participating community member at
Okay,
the moment, so...
and that's fine. We we don't draw a real strong line there outside of any specific rules. But this is just a workshop. So.
I'm very happy to just observe and ask questions. I think that'll be helpful, and I'm looking forward to it. So thanks for having me.
No problem. Since you've taken the time to come in, do you have anything that you want to make sure we cover?
No, I've just really interested to see how this all works, and just really happy to ask those questions, and yeah, I'll provide the input as needed. But yeah, I guess I'm sure you're about to get to it. My first question was, what's the overall objective of this survey that we'll be generating for the town? Then, what are we looking to get out of it?
We really need to identify who doesn't have meaningful broadband, who's left. So we have some of the town that's on cable, some of the town that's on fiber, and some of the town that's on everything else. So we really want to understand where those people are. This meeting is set up because we want to talk about getting fiber to every single doorstep. But part of that survey data is where do we start? Typically, when you do that kind of build out, you do stuff on your Route 1, your main roads and all that. We want to try and start that project. If we got to a point where we could deploy fiber, we want to start with where there's nothing. At least as soon as we can.
That seems very equitable. Yeah.
Guys like me or guys like you, I'm okay at 400 by whatever I've got.
Right.
We've got folks that have been more than patient without that. So we're using the survey data to start building towards that. And that's in support of our question to send out to all the ISPs of, hey, who will help us build this network, if anyone. And then from there, we'll sort of start building it in. The other thing I want to put out there, if I sound at all funny, I've gotten my first retainer ever at 39 years old.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Congrats.
Well, the braces are off, so that's pretty neat. But I'm having a heck of a time. So if I slur my speech, I have not been drinking. That's when I get home after this.
Just slow down and you'll be fine.
Slow down.
Just fine.
The challenge forever, but thank you, Bob. So I saw Max step away. I think there's some pre-existing survey data.
I've just shared the broadband draft survey with everybody here, including you, Thomas.
Oh, excellent, thank you.
And I know Max had a suggestion on it regarding the abbreviating or making the first paragraph much, much shorter. Instead of explaining everything to people, just say, here's a survey, complete it for us.
Okay, great.
In case you're interested.
This is a map. One of the questions I'm wondering, I don't think we do have, is asking them if they can do a speed test.
Okay,
if they have an ability to do a speed test. And if they don't, or if they can't, would they mind if one of us goes out to visit them to see if we can do one?
right. And if they don't have internet at all, I mean, that would be as simple, and this is something I could do, or anyone with the equipment, probably go out with a cell phone, see if there's any
See if there's
signal at
anything
all,
there
and
at
see what
all.
it runs.
Yeah,
And if they give us the okay, we can just tell them, hey, you might see a red car in front of your house. That's just one of us.
so it would just be a matter of phrasing that question as question number 12, unless we want to get rid of some of the ones that are in there.
Well, we put it at the bottom for now so we don't lose track of it, because that's a solid idea.
Okay.
We can weigh it down on the table perhaps or something like that. Take a look over there, or I can.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Thank
And if you want to pull a chair up closer, we don't really stand on ceremony. There's no rank or anything.
Yeah.
There's a motion to approach the committee table.
None that I'm aware of.
Fascinating, yeah. So how many communities, how many homes are we, or businesses, sorry, properties, I suppose, would this end up going to? What's the current estimate?
So until we're done sort of crunching the data and looking at a next survey, I don't have a solid number for you. Do we have a document somewhere from the results from the last survey that was done?
No.
Well, how many, what do we have, 5,000 people in Waldoboro, somewhere around there?
About, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
just for an idea, around this area right here, this green, this is just people who are on DSL and satellites and whatnot. Over here, this is the southern end of Flanders Corner. They're in a pocket where this is served by fiber, but this is served by Charter, Spectrum. So this just leaves about 7 residents who are blank. Same thing over here, Restore Mountain. That's about 7 people who are left with nothing. And then Noise Road, we don't know what, this is a private area, so we don't really know how many people are there year round. And then this is a bit misleading, but I think the Charter line ends around just at the Deer Run lane. Like this is served, but Morse to Sauerkraut, that's up there. I don't think they have Charter up there. I think
Right.
it's there. And then there's just some random pockets all over the area, like Hope Road, there's one individual there. Simon Road, I don't know if the Charter goes all the way up there. This area has actually just been connected to Chapel Road. That's what we were celebrating last time.
Oh, I see, right, fabulous.
And then it's just various little areas where the cable just doesn't go all the way, like you'll see over here at Morse Corner and 32 right here. It's just left blank there.
Right, I see. Okay, so the survey is going to go out to pretty much this area, sort of broader, anywhere where you think there may be people who don't have it then, right?
Right.
Mhm.
But that's just an
Yeah.
idea.
No, because I was just wondering about how many, if it's a smaller number of people, if almost it would become possible to reach out to make sure. I mean, because you want everyone to answer this, right? Ideally, right?
We do. So
yeah.
you've got a very good hold on that. So there's 2 problems, and if anyone thinks differently, let me know. This is how I've sort of commingled them. We have the folks that are left that don't have any broadband, and those are folks that we have a very low chance, as I understand it, of getting a grant to serve them. And we don't have funds to just pay for the fiber to be built out. And these are regular working folks, but at 30 grand a mile, I'd be surprised if most of these folks had the money to get that media out. So
Right.
to do that, the next way to do it would be to build a whole network. So to do that, we would probably need to get a bond or some kind of financing to build that out. The likelihood of any town approving a bond, out of a town of 5,000 to get, say, 50 people connected, I would hazard to guess is very low. So the idea is, can we come up with a plan that people like to deploy a brand new network on top of everything else that's there?
Right.
And that could be with LCI, that could be with Charter. There are towns that have done it on their own, and we haven't bolted that piece down. And that goes back to why we're asking ISPs if they'll work with us to lay this out. We're not trying to get Waldoboro into the business of internet. Our goal is just to get fiber to the folks that don't have it, and the easiest way to get there is to get it to everybody.
Right. The goal being just get every single
Right.
person in Waldoboro
Right.
online if they want to be online.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you look at the orange lines that are fiber, LCI work with us to expand, and they've done this before in other towns. Can we convince Charter to upgrade their last mile so it's fiber to the home or fiber to the premise? Maybe. Does a third party want to come in and build a network where there wasn't one? Those are all a few steps ahead of where we are. But that's how we're getting there and considering those questions.
Fascinating. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sorry, please continue.
No, this is also helping us. I don't know about you guys, but when I have to explain that, the more I explain it, the more I think of finding tools. I love questions.
Oh, great then. Okay. All right.
Yeah, if you ever want to just see like where the fiber is or where Charter is, just feel free. I have this map here, and I do have one on GIS that I just need to, I guess, put on the town website at some point.
We have a very open local government. Information, I don't know about you guys, I've never had a hard time getting the data I need for whatever. Matt's
Yeah.
is pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much fiber that Ruben was talking about from LCI. It's this orange area up here along Old Augusta Road. There's this little sliver down here on Duck Puddle, and then down here in the village area that also has it.
The village is pretty rich. We've got a couple overlaying services out there.
And it's also because we have a dark fiber line that runs through it from the main three ring binder that we created.
Oh, I see. Right. So that's the 3-ring binder and LCI Tidewater. This is fiber as well, right?
Yeah, it's places that only fiber.
Okay. Consolidated is DSL, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And then I see. And Time Warner Charter is what I'm on actually as well. I think. So and then there's LCI and Charter as well, which is right. Okay.
And I guess I need to update the map though.
Is LCI and Charter fiber as well, or is that DSL?
LCI is Tidewater.
Okay, so this yellow one is also fiber then.
Yeah.
Okay, right, cool. Sorry, although I know that's not really the point.
Oh, no.
but yeah.
Well, if you want to understand the map, it's reasonable.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry, please continue. I really don't want to be interrupting things too much.
Well, I mean, if we didn't want input, we probably have chosen the wrong thing to volunteer for, right? This is everyone being involved.
And you never know. Someone who's new might be watching as well, and they're all curious about this whole thing.
That's how I started on this thing. I was watching on YouTube. Here we are.
So question number 1 is okay. Name and address.
I think, yes, Bob, I think that's an excellent place to start.
Question number 2. How do you currently obtain internet access? Check all that apply. Have we left anything out? Oh, you're already in there, Ruben. That is so cool.
Do we want to have an option that says, I don't know, or I'd like help
Yes,
figuring that
we do.
out?
We do.
While you're adding that, Bob, forever ago, I think I created a Gmail account that was just for the CTC. And the idea was it was an account the town controlled that access would get shared out to. I'm going to dig up my notes on that. Its purpose is archival. So if any of us step down or as things changes, I want a central place for all this stuff to go. So that'll be for a different meeting, but just so we can dump this all into a central place. And if anyone here needs to share it with another town or a neighbor or whatever, you'll have a good place to go.
Great idea. Okay, I added I don't know.
Okay.
So we've got Red Zone, Consolidated, Fairpoint, Spectrum, Charter,
So,
Linksville, Verizon.
I'm going to pause you for a second because
Yep.
Spectrum and Charter are the same company.
Yep.
Okay.
I think people know it as Spectrum. That's their branding. So you could probably take Charter out.
How about Spectrum / Charter?
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's a really good idea.
that's what I at least have to refer to whenever I'm
Okay.
doing the grants.
Spectrum what?
/ Charter. So have
Like it's an either or.
Do we want to put in Spectrum Business as a separate entity? Because I do Spectrum Business.
I mean, that's a separate product.
It is.
But it's the same group.
Same company.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't need to know that
I mean,
much.
it's kind of like why we just need to say LCI fiber instead of saying Tidewater or all the other affiliates it has.
The only reason I'd keep Tidewater is because if it's a DSL customer, they probably still have a bill that says Tidewater on it.
Yeah, in fact, there are people living in Waldeboro. I know them. I communicate with them at Tidewater, not LCI.
They established the LCI fiber network specifically as a sort of sub-business.
Yeah, good point.
For the purposes of simplification, could it be? So all of these are ISPs that are currently serving Waldeboro, and people have subscriptions to these?
Well, Xfinity,
We're not sure.
Xfinity doesn't exist here. That's
Does
Comcast.
that- Do we know that for sure?
They don't. They
We'll take
probably,
it out then?
Yep, that can go away.
I'm pretty sure they don't go anywhere north of Woolwich.
Comcast and Spectrum dance around each other. It's very rare you'll find them in the same area.
Yeah.
And that could, if you want to go down the rabbit hole of conspiracy YouTube videos, search for that. But they stay separate from each other.
Could it be, I mean, just in the interest of making the survey shorter,
Mhm.
could it be done that I mean, if there are ones that we're not sure that people are even on, maybe we just omit those and just put in other field or something like that? I mean, it won't give us some more work in, correlating it, because we'd have to, people might say other spectrum or other something like that, but,
That's
That will
Yeah.
be more work.
that's a really good idea.
but it
I
would be
think.
more work, so.
Well,
Will be more work.
Mhm.
oh, because we have to manually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We have to read handwriting.
I mean, there's some type of way that we can contact these people after the survey's been sent out, right? I mean, worst case is we just have to contact them and ask about what other meant. And that's fine. That's a quick email or phone call.
Well, that's the other, I don't know one. Presumably, if they don't know. Well, no, you're right. Other is a separate category.
I guess that gets back to the question of how many people roughly will the survey target? Because I mean, if we need to call people up to do ground truth, it's
50
not.
maybe?
Sorry.
50 perhaps? How
Yeah.
many unserved people do we have in town now?
Take out Chapel, it's not that many anymore. It might be no more than 50. I think Deaver, Storer, and Flanders are the last three big ones that I can. Or well, there is Fintown. I keep forgetting that. I'd say 50 is a safe bet.
Yeah.
In defense of a shorter survey, some people will get fatigued just staring at a lot of words too.
Yeah,
Your call. I have no axe to grind.
I'd go with just shortening the number of answers and just doing other.
So anything after Verizon comes out? The thing is that when you're in an area where people aren't served, they're gonna be using these oddball services. They might have SpaceLink for all we know. But they might have HughesNet.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I think we should limit it to Consolidated, Spectrum, Tidewater Telecom, and other.
We're asking people who we think are unserved if they're on one of those things that might be served.
We probably have a pretty good handle on. We had that problem, but I guess we probably have a pretty good handle on who really has access to it now.
I mean,
I guess I'm thinking in the wrong scope because we're going to send this. Are we just sending this to people we know are unserved, or is there a point where we'd ask the whole time to fill this out again? Would that second one be a waste of effort?
I would think we just try to focus on unserved areas and
Okay.
just get the info. But we have to make sure they're unserved. Are we
Right.
missing any? Do we know them, Max?
the only thing I can think of is like Old County Road, because that's a road that the town doesn't really maintain anymore.
Mhm.
I don't know who lives on there. And it goes back to my point of, are we talking about people who are seasonal or year-round?
Good point.
Well, for our target group, it makes sense that they probably wouldn't have one of the larger companies. If that's the case, do you want to have a checkbox, or do you just want to have a line they write their answer
Why
in?
don't
It's
we
that
leave
small
it
of a
in for the
group.
time being and see how long it is at the end of the day?
Okay.
We might be taking some of these questions out.
Okay.
So number 3 is I own a business at my physical address which does not have internet access. Is that a good one? I want to rephrase that.
I think it's functional.
Do you have access, Rich? Do you have access to this thing? You got it.
It won't open.
Oh, here.
So,
Ruben, do you have an HDMI port on your laptop?
Yeah.
Why don't we open it on the TV?
open,
Sure. I'll go get it.
oh, thank you.
Oh, no, you can.
Is there, do we have a long cable?
We got the 100.
Oh, I forgot. We went on an Amazon shopping spree for this room a couple months ago.
Just sent this out.
Yeah.
You
Everyone,
just sent this out.
keep
today.
going. I'll just get this thing out.
This one,
Yeah,
5 minutes ago.
yeah, that's the next one. That's probably why.
You can see where Ruben is already. He's
Yes.
tooling around with this thing.
So you can keep going with the questions.
I'm not sure if I don't think question number 4 is necessary. I get the purpose of it, but for what we're doing here, I'm operating under the assumption that anyone that's interacting with us wants
I think
broadband.
you're right, yeah.
Yeah,
A little too much.
maybe I personally would like to as well, but
That's
I'd
a
rather not run a company right now.
Right?
that's me. So
Oh, it's stressful, I hear you. I think 4 is useful if we notice a metric that a certain unserved road is, all families, that could be good to know.
I'm doing a quick renumber.
maybe we should change 4 to be like who may need, because I mean some of them. I mean, well, I guess actually schools are back now, aren't they? Right. Sorry, I don't have any school-age children. So.
Neither do I. I mean, school's ending for this season. It seems like it almost depends on the week and if a school's had an outbreak or not.
Right.
I think it would be wise to operate under the assumption that they'll need some remote access. Nothing's fixed forever.
I mean, I needed internet when I was in school to do basic research.
Oh, yeah.
To get onto libraries and things like that. So I mean,
I can't imagine trying to compete without broadband.
no.
I would change I require internet to I require broadband on question 5.
Is that I required to keep up with my professional development, or have the numbers changed? No.
Yeah, Bob's been updating the numbers as we
Okay.
go through. But yeah, that's the question
Okay.
or statement.
So when we refer to internet in question number 2, do we want to take out, and do we want to substitute that word with broadband?
Yeah, I think so. Anything that's my theory being a lot of these people could probably get to the internet over the cellular or over dial-up or whatever. So if we say broadband means this speed, if anyone else in a later conversation wants to split hairs, we've just
That
clarified
nuance
that.
went right over my head.
Oh, did on mine until I stared at it for a second. I think that's why we're all here, to look at this stuff.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I understand what you're saying when you make the distinction between broadband and internet. I do understand that. After you've explained it to me.
So am I right in thinking that you're suggesting we had the broadband wording because it means that in future when referring to this data, we can point at it and say, well,
Right.
if someone wants to say, well, actually, you have Starlink now, you can get internet there, right? But Starlink isn't. I mean, well, it's cost prohibitive, but also, it doesn't really have a lot of the kind of service.
Right.
Yeah. Right. What kind of professional development and accreditations? There's more out of curiosity.
I mean, you could really put that towards anything. When I think about that, we've got some residents up on Chapel that work for Maine Health, which is one of the healthcare companies in the area. And they have classes or yearly certifications they'll take that involve an online component.
Right.
So in the past, they've had to go to work to use the internet, particularly in bad weather is when it's become a problem.
Right.
And now they can do it from home.
Which is what you want. Yeah.
So I'm taking out internet wherever I see it. Sorry, and putting broadband in.
I have replaced all instances of internet with broadband.
Okay, good.
I love find and replace.
I do that on Word, but I don't understand
Oh,
what the docs are
it
about.
took me a second.
Oh,
If you do Control F, once you found the word, it expands,
oh, does it?
which makes no sense to me. So I learned that about when you did.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. We have household members who work from home. Yeah, I think that's fine. I really like number 7, the I have a medical condition and would benefit from using telehealth to communicate with my doctor and other healthcare providers.
Yep,
I think that's really
I
good.
know that resonates with you.
I'm resisting the
Even
urge to
more.
put more words in there, but it wouldn't change the utility of the statement. I think that's great.
One of the most important ones.
Sorry?
That's one of the most important ones.
Yes, it is.
Actually, can we move it up? Maybe?
That's not a bad idea.
Just make it a, like, not question 7, make it like question, are you saying like have it higher in the list or?
Yeah, like on the first page.
Wow, it's hard to read that up there too.
Want to switch that around? Ruben,
Maybe swap it
I'm
out.
quicker
for
at that than I am.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just I'm going to make my
Display bigger.
my text a little bit larger here.
If you actually, if you jump up in the top left on Google Docs, that 100%, you can just set it to page width
Oh,
as well. That 100% there. If you click on that next to normal left a little more.
Oh, there it is.
There you go. And those fit at the top.
Oh, 150?
And that just
I
Thank
can
you.
read that, that's good.
oop, that went kind of fast. So,
maybe we should just go through all the questions and then think about reordering later, because now I'm thinking about reordering, I'm actually wondering if there's other ways we could make it a little more immediate as well. But,
yeah, much like 7, I think 8's important. I'm elderly, live alone, and want to stay in my own home by utilizing the virtual care Senior Health Services provides.
Is that the lingo that one uses? Or is
I
it,
need to ponder. I think I understand where the question is getting at.
yeah,
It might be worth going back to see if we can say it in fewer words. It's reasonably brief. Would the people facing that challenge process that?
I can take out the first "and" for sure.
Mhm.
I am elderly, live alone, and want to stay.
Fits well with the medical, but it's very much.
what
It's
is the
good to
virtual
have
care?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Is the
No,
virtual
that's
care
fine.
just mean like caretaker would do a Zoom call or something, or what does virtual care mean in this situation?
So there's a bunch of different things they deliver. Are you thinking about the cameras and stuff that you would have at home?
Yeah, I actually looked up that phrase somewhere at one of the medical services here in Maine, and they used it. But I don't know how typical, you'd know more about that than I would.
So that's not something anytime I've dealt with that, it's usually provided by a third party. But yeah, it's a simple enough thing. It's basically an on-demand video call for multiple rooms. You have a pendant, you hit the pendant, it can connect the camera, they can see how you're doing. I think Julie's used it in the past too.
Yeah.
Where she's had a camera that's on full-time in certain
That's
areas. So I modified the end of the statement a little bit. So now it's, I am elderly, live alone, and want to stay in my own home by utilizing virtual care Senior Health Services.
Good.
If anyone thinks of a better way to word it.
Yep.
If you are able, please conduct a speed test using your broadband device by going to speedtest.net. There is, let's see here.
Why did you select speedtest.net? Is speedtest.net just what
That
you use?
I don't. Was I around when this first one was written, or was that there previous to me? It's popular. It's a very popular site that people go to.
I defer to you on that. I totally.
I would suggest mainbroadbandcoalition.org since that's what the state uses for.
Oh, really?
grants.
Okay.
I did do it.
That's all one word?
Yep, mainbroadbandcoalition.org.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I had a solid memory of why that's in there. I'm assuming it was just a popular choice at the time.
Okay.
That you have to fill it up, give them your address.
Yeah.
I mean, but I agree with you about the point, and just in terms of that data.
Guess we need to put in. Do you want to make that second part of the question a separate question about have someone coming over and doing the speed tests for them if they can't do it?
I think as is, I don't think it necessarily matters. I think you just having it where it is probably okay.
Okay. Well, if they provide their email address, it's a yes to our question, so we don't need to ask them to do it. We just need the spaces, right? That'll shorten it.
Yeah. You got to wonder if there will be at least one person we call back that asks why we were calling. There's always one. All right,
So we're down to 9 questions.
that's pretty good.
That's better.
So questions 7 and 8, I'd like to see as questions 2 and 3. Anyone have an issue with that?
No, not at all. Thomas, what do you think?
I agree, and I was actually thinking that the initial question that we had some concern about with all of the options, maybe actually that's something that we should put later on, because almost if you read through this, you're like, oh man, I would benefit from using telehealth. I would, like these things.
Yeah.
And so maybe people will be more engaged with the survey, and then we'll as opposed to
Right.
kicking off which.
As opposed to, hey, read this book first. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also, the person filling out the survey may not be the person who actually knows who does the internet.
Mhm.
That's the other thing.
So put the question about what service they have, if any, put it last.
I like it last.
I'm okay with that too, actually. Well, I mean, it's important to us, but I mean, all these answers are important, and if we get even partial response, if they don't give us an answer on the last one, maybe they'll at least have given us their phone number.
That would actually be good because that's when they're doing the speed test as well.
That's right.
So that's when it's going to be in the same category if they're going to have to look up this information anyways.
Yeah, and oftentimes that web page will tell you who's providing your internet. It's not perfect, but it's surprisingly good.
Okay, so if we move that down then.
I've moved it down. So it's the second to the last question at this point.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see.
Can you tell how many pages this is now?
Yeah, it's 2.
Oh, I was looking for the page break. I just found it.
One thing I noticed, and this is a small one, I don't think anyone will notice this except just because we're going over it so finely. The question 7 is we have household members who work from home, but a lot of the other ones are I-based.
Good. Good pick.
So maybe we should have a note at the beginning saying if any.
I have someone in my home.
Use first person singular.
I think that's cleaner.
Is that the only one? The only we that was in there?
we provide a note at the beginning, just say if anyone, I suppose it's kind of obvious actually, isn't it? You know, if there's someone else in your home who has a medical condition who would benefit from using telehealth as well, we'd obviously like to hear about it. But I would also hope that's not that.
I mean, they would either start with I have or someone in my home.
Which one are you on? Number 7?
Well, I mean, so in general. So I'm focusing on question 2. I have a medical condition and would benefit from using telehealth to communicate with my doctor. Do we want to assume that they'll infer that if their spouse has that issue, they would say yes, which I think is reasonable, or do we want to change these to someone in my household has, and then that issue?
I like someone in my household better actually for this question.
Okay.
What is everybody?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not married to either one. Just
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, that would appeal on getting
It makes
into-
it less specific, so you're
Yeah.
adhering to HIPAA,
Mhm.
somewhat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
And actually, the biggest telehealth thing right now is mental health services. So which people are usually the most private about of all, you know. So
that is a huge driver. You're right.
Communicate with a doctor or other health care providers. I like the order a lot better now.
I would make the same change to question 3 instead of I am elderly, someone in the household.
Sorry, you're gonna.
So question 3, just like question 2. So right now, question 3 starts with I am elderly. You could change that to someone in my
Someone in the
household is
house is
elderly, or
elderly.
someone in the household.
Is elderly or lives alone. And wants to stay
I would change mine to that. Or
in,
Perhaps
In-
they have 2 or 3
wants to
generations.
stay home.
yeah,
Wants to
just stay home. Fewer words.
in the
Wants to
same
stay
family.
home by utilizing virtual healthcare, senior health services.
Mhm. Four, I think, is fine as is. I would expect that the person managing the business would be the one that would want to take care of that. I think the same thing for 5.
they'll probably have gotten hit by 4 as well.
Yeah.
We could actually take out in number 4, we could just say, I own a business at my physical address and do not have broadband access.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's helpful as well because people might get confused thinking, oh, I don't have business broadband, but I have personal broadband.
Oh,
when,
yep.
when actually that's not really,
Right.
that's a customer company thing, isn't it? Not an infrastructure thing.
Sorry, Thomas, I didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was just remarking that it's better this way because the prior wording it could have made people think, oh, I have home broadband, but I don't have business broadband
Right,
at my business. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think 5 we could change to I have children at this physical address who need broadband access for education.
for education. And just leave everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you changed 5 to instead of I have children, well, I guess so. Do we think we'll find a concentration of families we didn't know about? If we don't think that, 5 and 6, I think, could be made into one question. Just someone at this physical address needs broadband for access to education. Or is that two combined?
I agree. I think you can combine them because we don't need to drill down that finely into the detail.
Okay.
The idea is someone in the house that needs to keep up or to go to school. And maybe we don't even use the word children.
So how about something like someone at this physical address needs broadband for education and or professional development.
And accreditation.
That covers it.
Yeah, and gets rid of an extra question.
We would save 0.5 cents of toner. It'll be great.
We just say professional development.
Yeah, I just call it professional development.
Yeah. So someone at this physical address needs broadband access for education or to keep up with professional development.
Mhm.
Good. I can renumber the questions again.
This one, just for consistency's sake, maybe we could just do someone in this household works from home.
Yep.
Which question?
6.
Question 6.
Someone in this household works from home. Yep. Good.
I don't have a problem with the formatting of number 8, but it might be worth adding some spaces so the whole question appears on the second page.
Page break. There's no way we're gonna get it down to one page.
No, but what we could do is if you page break it, you could have one sentence that says, forum continued on the other side. That way, if they send it out dual-sided, save the
Yep.
paper.
Yep, good idea. So, please turn over. My typing sucks. I found this on the web. Thank you very much.
The future.
You want that please turn over above the page break, right?
Yep. On my screen, it looked like the number 8 part was.
Oh, you've got
I'm
that.
pointing at the screen like the internet has any idea what I'm pointing at.
You've got printed version up there somehow. How did you do that?
Mm.
View, under view,
Yeah.
print layout. Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. I never know what I'm going to learn or who I'm going to learn it from. And that's awesome.
Question C has a small typo. I access the broadband. I think it was originally the internet.
Yeah, right. Good pick.
Is it worth broadening that? For access broadband at the Waldeboro Public Library or other public? I mean, I can't think of anywhere else public in Waldeboro where people would go, to be honest. So, as I say this is probably not good.
Library's got better speed than anyone else in town.
Actually, for later, is it possible we could ask the library staff, if there's anyone who regularly comes in who we may not be aware of. Just be like, they might, presumably they will become a regular. Right?
I don't know what they're allowed to share. It's like if you went in and asked who was reading what book, they can't tell you.
True.
Now, the way around that, because I like where you're at. I get where you're. I think I get what you're trying to do. If we could hand them a few copies of this form, and if they happen to have that conversation, they've got it available. And they don't have to ask people, "Hey, do you not have internet at home?" But
Yeah.
they're going to have relationships with some of these folks.
You can also go to the parking lot and write down license plate numbers.
I guess you could. That one sounds exhausting.
That might get people in trouble.
Just a little.
It would.
I like to drive.
But yeah, having a few surveys maybe at the front desk could be a good compromise here then.
I'm looking forward to telling that story when I get home, Bob. I got to tell you, Tim's going to love that.
So we're down to 2 pages with a very brief second page.
Well, keep in mind, there's still the letterhead that has to go on there.
Do you have money in your budget to have this printed, Max? Or is it gonna really cost us anything to print it double-sided?
I mean, if it's 50, it's not gonna be that bad.
I'll bring a laser printer in if that's a problem. Like,
50 things is not an issue.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I can take it home and print it too.
Yep.
Does it need to come officially from the town? In other words, if we had copies ourselves, should we hand them to people?
It would be nice if it were on town letterhead, wouldn't it?
I think it'd be best if it
That'd
came
be
from
more
the town.
effective.
Yeah.
Just like the letter to ISPs, I think that needs to come,
Yep.
from here.
Yep. So did we leave enough room at the top for letterhead? We need to read
Do you know how many lines that needs, Max?
a little more space?
For letterhead, do you know how much space you need or how many lines? Or I mean, if we just send,
3, 4 lines, I'd say.
I mean, if we send Max or whoever a copy, we just want to make sure that we don't want any of the questions to be broken between 2 pages. That's really all we're after, right?
Right,
So-
and we want it on one sheet of paper so they print on the both sides.
So yeah, I think as long as we can achieve that, we're good.
Is Max, did you share this with Max?
Yep. Yes. So I'll just download it and put it on the letterhead then.
Cool. And if there's any issue with cost of postage, I'll volunteer for that. Just let me know.
No, this should be fine.
All right. Oh, the town does okay, but
If need be, we can hand deliver. I love to listen to stories in my truck and drive around town.
Oh, there you go. You could buy a drone and airdrop. I would crash that immediately. I tried a drone once. It went poorly. A very expensive mistake.
You could ask
Same.
Jen.
It's like the time I got into trading commodities. I spent about 5 minutes doing it, lost my shirt, and decided never to do it again.
Yeah.
So how do I get the document you have up there?
So it's live. We're looking at the same document, I think.
Right, but why am I not showing the page break on my machine?
I don't know.
Oh, it's there now. I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
It's all good.
I was going to tell you I have no idea because I'm not very well versed
Yeah.
in Mac OS to that level. I can reinstall the OS with a key combination. That's the end of my Apple skill on OS 10. All right. I think we should stop touching it. Give it a day. Look for typos or whatever. But I'm reasonably happy with that format. How about you guys?
I'm good. See anything more, Thomas? You've got an eagle eye there.
Oh, thank you. The only thing I'm wondering is if we're concerned that people may miss the other side. Actually, wait, there's nothing here about how to return the survey.
It does say, please turn over at the bottom of the first page.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, returning it.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I was
Please
thinking
turn
actually.
over.
How do we...
So that's an excellent point. We should probably have an instruction at the end.
That's what I'd say.
You filled it out. What now?
That's what I'd say is the other thing. Because other large surveys we sent out, there was always a business reply one,
Mhm.
an envelope where the person would just send it to us and they wouldn't have to pay anything, we would pay for it.
Mhm.
I think it should just be a simple drop off at the red box outside.
That's what we did last time, actually. We had 3 locations in town where they could drop it off in addition to mailing it if they wanted
I
to.
would say just the drop off would
Yeah.
work then.
Yeah, we've got a pretty captive audience with this particular group.
Yeah. So they could drop it off at the library, or they could drop it off in the red box at the town hall.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Is that okay?
I think it
Sometimes
is.
the drugstore will accept stuff, but
Well, I mean, we know the town office and library are connected to this group. So I think if we wanted to put that in now, we could be pretty confident that it would work.
okay.
Yeah.
At the bottom or at the top?
I put it at the bottom when they're done.
You better do it.
You are assuming a lot about my typing ability, sir. I literally pay for Grammarly, so. Oh, you got all the words in the right order.
Does that work?
I think that's great.
You better ask the library if it's okay. I'll ask tomorrow.
I will be real surprised if they say no. That's their prerogative, but
They just don't like surprises, so
Well.
they'll be fine.
it's fair.
Well, their remit is to connect people and inform them, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, it's you would hope.
No, they're good. I could see them maybe having a little fun with us. I wouldn't
Yeah.
couldn't refuse them that opportunity. They're great folks. Have you been in the library?
You know, I went there the first time on Saturday with my son, and he had a great time picking out some books. Lovely people.
I hadn't been in there before. I think I was there the week before that to drop off a couple books for him. I didn't. Okay, it's a fine building. I didn't realize it was quite that nice on the inside.
Yeah.
though. It's real pretty.
Yeah.
I like it.
Do you have a library card?
Nope. I anytime I want a book, I just order it. Then I go to work.
Okay.
That's just.
But it would give you access to Cloud Library. You wouldn't have to order it or pay for it.
Well, I should have a card anyway, just because I live here.
Yes,
So,
you should.
no, I will. This is me on video. I will participate further in my community very soon.
They make it easy as well. I gave them my registration,
Yeah.
and she said, "Oh, go browse. I'll fill this all up for you." And then I came back when I was done. And she handed me my library card. It was lovely. Very, very painless.
No, I will make a point to do that. Another excuse to introduce myself over there, anyhow.
Good. Thank you.
I'll tell Kim that story too.
Sounds nice to get the numbers up a little bit.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. All right. So if we think that's more or less sorted,
Yeah.
Max, do we need to do anything else for? We have that general question we want to send out to ISPs.
Yep.
And I'm not sure what else we or I or whoever can do to help that along. Is that something that one of us is going to send out, or do we work with you and Julie?
You just tell me what the question is, I put it on the letterhead, then
Okay.
I can give you, and you can send it out if you want, since you know who you want to send it out to. I can send it out if you want me to send it out from the town.
I'd rather it come from the town.
Okay,
So what I'll do is I'll email you that question. I'll CC everyone here. I'll also include probably knowing who to send it to would be helpful. Like, it's LCI in charge, but I'll look up the contact addresses for the other ISPs just to make it a complete list. And then we never really hammered down an amount of time we want to wait for an answer.
No, and then we really hammered down the question we want to ask.
Mhm.
And did you want to include more information in it?
I wanted to
Just-
leave it. I wanted to leave it right there, and if they have follow-up questions, because we're really saying, will you sit down with us and discuss this opportunity? And in my view, if they say yes, we're not committing them. We're just saying, hey, come talk with us and see what you want to do.
Okay. I do think it needs to have a qualifier at the end of the last sentence saying this doesn't represent a commitment on the part of the town of Waldoboro to enter into a relationship
Right.
with you.
So we can do that, and I don't want to, I mean, I don't want the question to sound like we're throwing down a gauntlet, but I also think it should include, you know, we're gonna wait this long before we move on. You know, is 30 days a reasonable number,
Whatever
or
it is, yeah.
I'd say 60 days.
60? Okay,
60.
great. And that's 2 meetings in summer starting, so that will blow right by. That's fine. All right. Is there anything else anyone wants to?
Thomas was looking a bit quizzical there at the end. I was wondering what he was thinking.
Oh, no, I was just thinking, I was trying to decode what you said actually when you said something about 2 meetings this summer or something
Oh,
like that.
sorry, we have a monthly meeting, so 60 days is basically 2 meetings.
Perfect. Right, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, I was just thinking. I was thinking of what we say, like, you know, look forward to hearing from you in the next or something like
Yep.
that. But maybe that's my that's me being English.
Well, we've certainly ended letters that way before. I could tell you stories all day, and I won't because we're being recorded. Nothing bad. But,
has a slightly threatening tone to it sometimes.
No,
It says,
I-
I look forward to hearing you if it, you know, this time. So,
we've
yeah,
said
no,
things like,
that's
"Hey,
fine.
you forgot to attach this document we asked for." Just let us know when you can do that.
So this is like Google email, it just saves automatically?
Yep.
Okay, we're out of it.
Yep. No, when they talk about you are officially using the cloud right now.
Okay. I get used to this.
Oh, that's so. At our next official meeting, but since we're all here, there's a thing I'm going to go ahead and explain on video. And Thomas, you've probably heard of this, but the term "as a service." So there's software as a service, which is what you're using right now. There's also you can have a telephone system as a service. You can have infrastructure as a service. You can do all these as a service things. That's important for a reason. Let's say that Bob starts a new business and he has gigabit fiber and nothing else. You can roll up all of your digital infrastructure as a service. Everything from servers to stores to web pages to telephone systems to communication systems.
Wow, just that one, using that one resource?
Well, there are multiple resources. Various companies sell these various
One
things as a
doorway in
service.
though, right?
So it's literally, some guy has a building full of all the equipment you might want to use, but if you can use it over a computer network, that's how you connect to it.
Okay.
That's also connected to that version where I made a wish where the town office has a couple dark fiber strands to everything, centers around that. So if you have that ring, the town office could have a telephone system as a service, and if you move anywhere in the network, it follows you.
Wow.
So there's way more to go with it, but you can't do that on cable internet. You need something grander.
Okay.
That's all I got.
That's so cool.
Motion to adjourn?
Go home?
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Looking for a second? Everyone want to leave?
I second it.